we wanted to do, there are many things that we have been doing ever since the numbers of students intake has gone up. Initially we were just struggling to cope with the running of bigger classes, so many classes, flip-flop timetable, all these things, enough faculty and so on. And then in the process, many classes got very big. We had also, with the increased intake, we saw the heterogeneity of the students also increasing, different backgrounds, social, academic, cultural, whatever. So we were observing, and in fact, a lot of the problems associated with poorer performance, integration, their ability to integrate here, so many issues were related to all of these issues. The sudden increase in numbers, our ability to cope, the heterogeneity, everything. Slowly, as we stabilize, because we still haven't stabilized in terms of hostels, we need those 2 hostels very badly. We've been trying to address these issues. Various things we have done. For one thing is, as we increase the number of faculty, we have now gone back. I think as of this semester, coming semester, we'll go back, we'll have almost, except the ID courses, no courses will have large classes. Even chemistry will switch to smaller classes now. So 12 to 14 teachers handling classes of 60, at most 60, 70 each. So because these large classes were not working at all. Then we tried to give more time to the students by moving workshop to the break period. So many things, we tried study circle, it works, it doesn't work, variable. Some other departments are now trying, getting some retired faculty to come and hold some tutorial sessions. Math, this semester the curriculum has been changed. Maths has gone back to a 4 credit with a 1 tutorial. Okay, so we are doing many things. I mean, obviously we don't have prior answers of what will work, what doesn't work. When we shifted the workshops to the holidays, we were not sure what will happen. It seems to work by and large. We'll have to see. So there are many things we are doing. Now, one of the things that we therefore started looking at also is, the current, before, the way it had, as the student intake grew from the original 300, 350 to about 550, even before the big increase in 2008, we had, the hostels were being, even the 4 big towers, Pampa, Mahanadi were all added only in 2003, 2004. So the hostels were struggling, there was a struggling period even before that in terms of rooms and so on. I think various things happened and we started putting the first years in many hostels. And the numbers were still smaller, but now with 800 and with them split into, total number of hostels is now going to, the men's hostels are going to of the order of 14 and go to 16. The numbers in each hostel being 40, 50, 60, it is becoming very difficult to, because these students, when they come in, the first year students, because of the heterogeneity, because of the sudden, they come from various, the backgrounds are increasingly very varied, and language problems. So many issues are there. When I met all the students who were doing poorly, I could see the problems is not 1 or 2 simple things. It's not just not able to understand. That's one set. There's another set which is having a language problem. The third set which is just very shy. All kinds of things. So we felt that this. So one of the things that, and there's some experience of this in the past, because the model that we're now going to switch to was the model, for example, which is an operation when I studied here. Okay, when I studied here, there were only 250 students who came in. We were put into 2 hostels, Mandakini and Alak, about 125, 150 each. And there were PGs or somebody else in the hostel. It didn't matter. Mostly, it's not necessarily PGs. I think mostly it was, very often it was PGs. But that we never interacted with them. That was not the reason. But we were together and that helped a lot. Large number together. I'm not saying the entire batch has to be together, but larger numbers. So that was very important. That was one thing we felt was very important. Secondly, the tolerance of after the death of that Vice Chancellor's son, about 10, 12, 15 years ago, finally the tolerance to ragging in the country went to 0. Before that, people used to say there's arguments that it has its plus points, there's that, so many things, But after that incident, the Supreme Court finally gave a judgment and said 0 tolerance and made it the responsibility of administrations to ensure that. So of course, you can never be 100% sure. We have an anti-ragging squad. We have we have a whole life. Somebody asked about that. We can tell you all the measures we have in place. Now the punishment is very exemplary. There is people cannot argue with it because the court itself has ruled that you should do that. So there's a lot of seriousness in the country about enforcing anti-ragging. But still, the point is it's for any implementation of any anti-ragging squad or any oversight, keeping a watch and etc. It's much harder if they are spread over 16 places. We just have to reduce it. It's a simple matter. We have to have more. We have to be able to do it in a much more efficient fashion. So that's second reason why we want the students in larger numbers in a smaller set of hostels. Okay, that is from the anti-ragging point of view. We are not saying that this will automatically switch off all ragging. We are not saying that. It's just the way that for us to be able to implement the measures that we have to implement, such as having surprises, squads, visits, keeping an eye, having wardens watch carefully. So many things. We are having a system by which somebody can complain. All of this, it's very hard if it's spread out over a very large number of hostels. We can't do it. We are getting stretched. That is the way you have to understand it's not that there's no theory that if you put them with PG students there will be no ragging, or next year there will be no ragging. They cannot be ragging in any year. Okay? But certainly everybody knows that the ragging is much more serious for the first years, and that's where we have to attack it first. Second year also we have to make sure that they don't get ragged. There's no doubt about it. So the two main reasons why we wanted the first year students to be together in larger groups, 300, 400, 200 each, now that size, right? Not just in 30s and 40s. We want them to be able to see, as much as it's important. We don't deny that there is a benefit in having easier interaction with the seniors. If you're the same hostel, the interaction is easier. There are many things that were pointed out which can still be done even if in the first year. This is only in the first year, by the way. Second year, they will, as in the past, they will go to the other hostels, and there's been a request from students that we should try to group the students as far as possible together from the same branch. Okay? Of course, some branches are very big, so we can't ensure that branches with 150 students can all go into one hostel. The room availability may not be there. If they were, we would like to probably try to move towards that direction over the next few years. But at least large numbers, half the branch, will go into the same hostel. So it will be like that from second year onwards. But in the first year, we feel there is a lot of benefit for the students to be large numbers of first year students to be together. We will be able to, in having a smaller set of groups of first year students, maybe 3 hostels, 4 hostels, whatever they have worked out, rather than 12 or 14, we'll be able to handle the anti-ragging measures much more effectively. And the third thing is the proactive measures, what Mitra is planning. This is not to give fundas about CFI. The proactive measures also, they feel they can implement that much better if they are in larger groups, in smaller number of large groups. Okay, this is the reason why we want to do this. Now, the idea that there are positives that will emerge if they are in closer proximity to seniors, nobody is questioning. Right? I'm not questioning that at all. It's a question of finally looking at the pluses and minuses in all and seeing what decision to take. So we want to see what we can do to increase the interaction with the. Now, there's another point that was made. While there's a lot of fundas, I know that how do you manage, how do you study, how do you do things. That is not the JE. A lot of stuff they have to get it from your seniors. But the other things, for example, Shastra and Sarang, we have no issue at all because we've already made it very clear in the Shastra and Sarang meetings with the secretaries last year, particularly, that we actually don't want to encourage participation of the first years in Shastra and Sarang except as audience during the event. Okay, we do not want them to be roped in any fashion, not just based on CGPA. We made this very clear. We just do not want it. It can wait. It can wait for the next 3 years. First, especially now that Shastra and Sarang are going to come in January, this will be essentially in their very first semester. We do not want them. First semester, let them focus on their studies and getting used to the place, making friends, whatever, but let them not get involved in Shastra or Sarang. This is something that we have made. By the way, I hope the only student, anybody who is not a student here? Anybody not a student? Yeah, this is only open for students. Okay, so we do not. So that if you want to give fundas about Shastra and Sarang, and this is going to prevent you, perfectly fine. That's what we want. Okay. On other things, yes. So we encourage. I think there are ways in which we can. We are not locking them up in the hostel, right? There's no such move. The hostels are going to be operated the same way. It's not that we want to put. It's not that we see there are huge gains in putting them together with PGs. That's not the idea. I don't think we have any empty hostels that we can put only first years, right? I mean, if there were empty hostels, you could put only first years, but we are not expecting. I mean, I don't expect. I lived in a hostel my first year with PGs and I didn't have any interaction with them except one or two. Okay, so not expecting that. Just treat it as a hostel in which there are 200 or 250 or 300 seats that are empty, in which we are putting a large group of first year students. So happens in another 100 or whatever students are PG students. That's not the important point. Okay, we are not looking at that at all. So we are not expecting them to help the first year students in any way. We are not expecting any great interactions or any great benefits from the interaction. I think whatever interactions will benefit them with their seniors, we should definitely make efforts to help to create those. So you can say that when looking at the entire picture, for the benefits of the easier interaction with the seniors, if we have to deal with the much harder problem of handling, taking as effective anti-ragging measures as possible over not just 3 hostels or 4 hostels, but over 12 hostels, and the benefits of that we perceive that the students will have in being together in larger numbers in terms of themselves, because while they benefit from the interaction with seniors, they also benefit a lot from interaction with each other, and that we didn't want it split up into small groups. What we found very distinctly in the last few years is that in the first year, particularly in the first couple of semesters, the students tend to hang out a lot in their coaching class groups. Okay, and that's not a these are very small groups. We want to enable new linkages to form, new connections to form, based on maybe the batches in which they are grouped into in their classes, and so on. So this is the reason for doing it. It is not an anti-senior measure. It is a pro-first year measure. We want the first year students to be together so that they can benefit from each other in numbers which exceed the 40 or 50 that were there earlier. And B, we want to be able to have a smaller number of group of first year students with which we have for whom we have to implement the anti-ragging measures. We don't want them spread out. You all can understand, it's very difficult to deal with it once there are 10, 12 such hostels. These are the 2 reasons. Second year onwards, the benefits that you point out, the problems of anti-ragging measures are definitely less. We'll keep an eye on what you said. We'll make sure that second years don't get ragged. And I think after 1-2 semesters here, I think they have formed their connections. They don't need to worry. We don't need to worry about them being together. Mitra's efforts to ease them into the IIT system will also not be required. So I think beyond that, the benefits of being with the seniors far outweigh anything else that is there. And so we want them to be in the hostels with the seniors, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what was done earlier also. It's not that the group of 300 students in one hostel will stay like that till the end of the 4 years or 5 years. That's not the way it is. Why were they, in my time also, why were we moved into other hostels at the second year? Because of the benefits. Okay, so that's really nobody's questioning the points that were being made that there are benefits. Just that after we see everything, we see the benefits of this, we see the benefits of putting them together, and those benefits far outweigh the benefits of their being with seniors in the first year. So that's what we are doing. That's how the decision has been taken. There was some question about democracy. So
can we open the question for you?
Let's do it in some time-bound fashion. I want to finish it by 6:30 or so. Yeah.
Sir, you are mentioning about coaching class groups continuing in the hostels, right?
We find them working together.
Yeah, that is what. The same group is actually going on, and they are.
I mean, not 100%. It's predominant. There's a dominance of that. Yeah.
What I say is, sir, if we keep
next.
No, sir, that is not.
No, I think there's enough. I don't want a one-to-one argument. I want to talk to everybody. So you please come back. I think somebody has to monitor. No? You know how it's done, right? You can raise their hands. Yes, one guy cannot have a debate. I don't want to have a debate with anybody. Okay? Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned that the workshop which are going in holidays are working out fine. Did you ask?
I'm saying that it appears to be working out fine. Huh? I didn't say we are sure it's working out fine. It appears to be working out fine.
No, it's not working out fine. Did you make any survey or what? Means you did not make any survey, and means you should ask first years that is it working out fine or not?
We are doing it. We are finding out.
Okay. I have another question.
But nothing that we do is cast in stone. If we find out it doesn't work, we'll be happy to change again. Don't worry. We are not standing on prestige here.
Okay. I have one more question.
Yeah.
You said that you're looking at plus and minuses of the system you propose. You now told only the plus of your system. Did
No,
you
no,
look
the
at
minus is that it makes interactions with seniors harder.
Okay, and that decrease that reduces that affects the culture of the IITM. And
No, it come in second year, so it doesn't matter too much. There is a slight pain.
I am in second year now, and the benefit I got from my 100 friends from first year is equivalent to the benefit I got from 5 to 10 seniors.
Okay, that's one view. Fine.
So
No, I want your opinion on this. I want your opinion on this.
1 minute, sir.
Just one point. The benefit you get from anyone is not to be judged. I am audible, I think. Is not to be judged at that point. When you go out, 4 years later, look at your entire career, you will be able to tell what the
It's okay.
benefits are.
I think the point is there can be different experiences. All I'm saying is we feel at the moment after looking at everything that the benefits of the first year students being together in larger groups outweigh the benefits of their being straight away in connection with their seniors. It can wait till second year. That's all we feel. Yeah.
So,
So I was in Godavari hostel this time, and there was about 180 freshers in our hostel. But we see that in that one large amount of number, we knew only very few people. Still, about 50 to 60 people we know everyone. We can't know everyone. So putting them in a large number, I don't think so that can help. Because in our hostel, I
Well,
see
at least from the experience in the past, from my own experience, for example, as student year, it helps a lot.
sir,
Okay.
sir,
So we'll find out. We'll find out.
No, second years they will prevent ragging. Same thing they can do in first
Either way,
year.
Baba. You can argue, I can argue. Yeah.
yes, sir, in 2008, when I was a first year, I was in Pampa Hostel, and Pampa Hostel that year had the largest contingent of freshies. It was like at least 200 first year students were there in Pampa Hostel. And my immediate seniors were in Tamraparni Hostel. Every night in my first semester, I used to go from Pampa Hostel to Tamraparni Hostel to interact with my seniors. For one thing, they took more interest in us. For another thing, the PG seniors in Pampa Hostel were so vulgar. I mean, the kind of interaction we received from them at that point was so vulgar and relative. I mean, when you compare it to our own seniors, because PG students, for one thing, they didn't have any kind of personal interest in us.
They're not interested in you.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to interact with you.
Exactly. So, but they will interact. That's the problem. You say that there is no benefit from.
No, you are saying that you have to be kept away from PG students. I'm
Not
sorry.
kept away from PG students. That's saying
I don't
that.
know what you mean by saying they are vulgar.
No.
I don't understand that. I didn't want to react to it, but I don't
Yeah.
understand.
No.
But
What
I can show vulgarity in everybody. I mean, this is nothing to do with PG students.
I'm talking about.
You made a statement which is
No, I'm talking about vulgarity.
No, please.
Yeah. Yeah. My point is, when you talk about ragging and interaction, I'm talking about vulgarity in that sense, not in any other
No.
sense. Okay.
See, all I'm saying is we are not putting together, our aim is not to put the freshies with PG students. It happens to be that we don't have empty hostels, that's all. Okay?
Yeah. So when you say that you don't expect the undergraduates and the postgraduates to interact, the interaction happens, and sometimes it might be harmful.
Yeah, there could be some harmful interaction.
Yeah.
Of course they can, no doubt about it. Yeah.
I have a question.
No, somebody with a mic, please, not otherwise. Yeah, lady here.
So,
And no talking out of turn. Yeah.
given that every fresher that comes into IIT comes into a new environment with very few people that he actually knows, what you're essentially doing with this decision is putting a lot of extremely shy, extremely reticent people into one hostel. Without seniors, there would be no stimulus for the freshie to interact with each other, sir. We think that what I can point to about 5 seniors in this very hall who are the reason why I got out of my shell, who are the reason why I started interacting with other people in my batch. What you'll find is all these people will be shy in an unknown environment, and the senior who's made this place his home is the one who will be likely to get them out of their shell, the one who's likely to get them more used to the campus and more used to what all this campus has to offer. So what you're actually taking away is a very vital avenue of the freshies themselves interacting with their own batchmates. Who else will get them out and more active?
I'm not taking it away. See, I'm saying that I don't deny that it's become, sit down. I don't deny that it becomes harder. It's easier if you're on the same wing, walk down the wing. I'm not taking it away. You can still interact as much as you want with seniors from other hostels. There's no problem. And later on in second year, we'll be moving in a new class of a new group of people and put together. Do not, make friends. I mean, after all of us, we have silver reunions and all that. Our biggest connections with our own batchmates, not with our seniors. So I think it's very important for them to be together and make their connections. They're not, even if they're all shy, it doesn't matter. They as much make connections with each other than as much as they make with seniors. There's no doubt about it. That's very important.
Sir, yeah, my question is this: the entire hostel culture has been built around Litsock, Texock, and Schroeter. My question is, doing this is going to affect it in a very, very adverse manner. There will be no proper foundations to be put to these freshies. They'll have no idea of the hostel spirit. They won't have enough. That is one thing that unites us and brings out an all-round personality in a person in IIT Madras. It is not only about academics, it's also about sport, it's also about technical stuff, smartness. It is only through that we have all these international competitions and events and exposure that we are getting. Once you limit your interaction to a very small group of people, for example, you're also saying the next year they'll be put into different hostels based on their departments. So they're going to be seeing the same person in the classes and the same person in the hostels.
No, that's
so it's
only...
it becomes a very, very small group of interaction.
A request that came from the students, from some of your seniors, from some of you, and see, we are going to, how many? There will be 70 people of one batch in one hostel, there will be another 300 from another batches. So it's not that they'll only see only their classmates in the hostel. They are saying that's what helps them a lot in working together. This is not something that, they are saying, sir, it's very important when you're having 60 or 70 people in the hostel, not to have 20 from 3 departments, but all 70 from one department. The other 330 will be from other departments. We're not saying all electrical engineering will be one hostel. We're not saying that. In fact, it won't be that way. Always saying is electrical engineering from second year or 1 year, a good number, maybe not be the whole batch now because 140 or 130 will be in one hostel. That's all we're saying. Okay? To correct any misinterpretation that you have. Now, the other point that you raised, I don't deny it at all. Let me tell you, even in our time, the first year, the hostels in which the first year stay, their N2 for Schroeter and all is much less. No doubt about it. Okay? I'm not, there's no free lunch. There's no doubt about it. The N2 for Schroeter, Texock, Litsock will only come in the second year when they move into the other hostels. Okay? Let me finish. If we implement this, that's what's going to happen. I don't deny at all that the hostel in which there are PGs and first year students, right, will not have the same N2 for these things. There may be some, I'm not saying that because nowadays in PGs get interested, I'm not denying that, but by and large what you say is true. It's perfectly okay. We feel first year, we want to focus on these other things. We are paying a price. We are not saying there's no price. All we are saying is that's perfectly okay, second year onwards. That's why we don't want this to continue beyond first year. Your point is well taken. Right? Next. Without mic, if you speak, I will not talk to you. Who has the mic? Because that's my way of controlling who speaks. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's your job to make sure everybody gets the mic in a fair fashion. Yeah.
Before last year, Jumna had some 160 freshies in their batch, sir. Jumna hostel. We won Texock that year only because of freshies.
So now you will wait for 1 year to win it. No problem, don't worry.
It's not that, sir. Actually,
that particular batch of freshies, see, if you say Texock is if you say the theorem that Texock only is one of the hostels in which freshies are, that can't be right. It turns out that the stars in Texock in that particular batch happen to be in the freshies, right? So now in the second, third, fourth year, that hostel will have a very high chance of winning because they are going to be there, right? All we are saying is a new system, they win for 3 years instead of 4 years, that's all.
In events like Texock and all, freshers are more interested than any other students, sir.
Yeah, but there's a problem. I'm telling you, we cannot have freshers in the first semester getting into all this. The current situation is like that. Just cannot have it. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you openly, that's my aim. I don't want them to participate in Shastra. I don't want them to participate in, except as in those 4 days when there are no classes, they can attend. I have no problem. No walls, nothing. Okay? Texock, if somebody, see, there are people who manage their lives very well on day one, right? There are people I know, in my class also when I was a student, they were there, who from second week onwards were going to the sports field and doing well, no problem. They will still do it, even from these other hostels. It's not that they can't do it because NSO is there. The ones who are really good in music and this thing will also find their way. But yes, the ones who discover for the first time, right? That will have to wait now for some more time. I agree with you, there is a negative side, there's no only pluses. But we are saying that taking everything into account, we want to do this. That's all we are saying. Okay?
Freshers as like
okay,
freshers.
I think give it to us.
Sir, one last thing.
Which is a different point.
Yeah,
the same point is back and forth like him.
No, different point. Right now we have majorly some 7 UG hostels and input batch will be some 850 students. So, excluding some 100 girls, 750 students. Why can't they be divided into a group of 150 and put up in the same thing?
We don't want 7 groups. We want actually to have 2 or I think this year they are having 3 because they're not able to put them in 2. We want to make them smaller because we have to deal with the ranking issue also. I can't spread my resources to handle it in 7 or 8 hostels. Just cannot do it. Okay? Yeah.
So I would first like to just get a clarification. So is the policy that at the end of the first year, this entire group of students would have to move to a different hostel?
Yes.
So if that is the case, then there is definitely a question of movement of students that is happening. So why not have that movement right now?
I'm telling you why not. I want the first years in
we can clear out 250 rooms each in 3 hostels where UG seniors are there.
No, but I don't want them to stay like that after that. I don't want them to stay.
If the movement is happening, let this be the way we start.
Please, all you are saying is let the others in the hostel not be PGs, let them be seniors. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't help my ragging, anti-ragging. It's better for me to put them with PGs for the anti-ragging part, number one. Number two, I don't want a situation where because of this method, all people who came in 2013 are in these 3 hostels, all people who came in 2014 are in those 3 hostels, all people who came in 2015 are, I don't want that. That's not good for what you people are talking about. One move at the end of first year will solve everything.
So that is my argument.
There's no big problem with that move. I mean,
so if that move is happening, then we can also have a move right now where...
What do you mean there's no move right now? I'm saying first year I want groups of 300 or no. Second year I don't want groups of 300. I don't want all the...
So then they'll move, right? They'll move. Those 250 places in...
That's what we're doing now.
So those 250 places in those...
No, that's what we do. What you're saying is the others should not be PGs but should be seniors.
The others should be UGs because that gives a better interaction.
That we will see. Don't worry about it. But not right this year. This year only because there are constraints on the hostels.
Last question. You said
on this topic, last question. Yes. Okay.
Sir, you mentioned that you moved the workshop to the holidays just to give the freshers more number of time, like more amount of time.
That was the idea.
That was the idea. And you now say that you don't want the freshers to participate in Shastra or Saran, or they can wait to participate in
they have told
that.
That we told even before we moved the workshop.
Or they like participate in TechSoc or LitSoc and all that. So, what do you want the freshers to do in the free time they have, other than this extracurricular activities?
They can participate.
You yourself provided the extra time, and you don't want them to do anything.
No. We are providing the participate, let them proactively take the effort to participate, let them not get I want them to decide on their own what they want to do with their time. They need a lot of time to study. The extra time was given so that they can study. Okay. I'll tell you that one of the things that benefited in our time was because we had a 5-year program, we had an alternate week of workshop and alternate week of classes. Many of us, I personally found that very, very useful because I found it very difficult. The pace here was very high, and that alternate weeks of no classes really allowed us to catch up. Okay. So there are many experiences in the past we draw on, and we said, okay, let's give them a little more time to study. Okay, that is why we have tried to fear, because they are otherwise in class, one class or the other, either workshop and then right into the whole day. Even in second and third and fourth year, people have a couple of afternoons off. Right? First years they don't have it at all. That is why we did it. It's not to enable them to start doing Shastra or Saran. Okay?
Sir, I had 20 credits in my first term.
That is one example, yeah, so what? Somebody else said I benefit from senior, so what?
No, that is for all the credits. 21 credits is the maximum. Okay? That's like average of 4 hours a day. Okay? So apart from the 4 hours,
credits is 4 hours a day.
5 days a week and 4 hours a day.
That's not how it works.
Like approximately, or 5 hours.
That's not how it works.
Or 5 hours.
5-6 hours a day. Okay.
So the remaining entire time we are free doing almost nothing.
Okay. Baba, I'm telling you, it's not like that. They need to study. They are not studying.
That's what. Okay, 5 hours a day we study. So 5 hours of class, 5 hours a day we study.
No,
so the remaining time, what about the remaining time?
Just 1 minute. I mean, 5 hours a day you have.
They need to play also. They'll play. Don't worry, they'll
what
play.
If someone
you don't need seniors to play. You don't need seniors to play.
What if someone is not interested in sports? There are many people.
They will find their way. They are ones who are interested in cultural activities will find their way.
That's what we are creating.
Don't have to be in the same hostel to find them.
We are creating.
Okay, next.
It's getting emotional.
Okay, next. I think you have
one point I would like
to say. No, I can't have 2 mics.
Just one point I wanted to say, that this is where we would like to hit. You said, sir, I have 4 hours or 5 hours a day and I don't have anything else to do. This is what is the problem. You think 5 hours a day in the class can be managed with 0 hours at the hostel. That is not true.
That may not be true. Sarit, it's okay. Let's not get into arguments on this. Sarit. Ashwin. Okay. No, I think I want to stop this. I'll walk out otherwise. Let's keep it. Yeah.
One more.
Say last question.
Last question.
You said let's not get into debates.
You said the UG freshers can still interact with their UG seniors, even if the UG freshers can still interact with the UG seniors.
Of course. Little harder, I know.
Yeah. But how can how can you claim this as an anti-ragging measure?
No,
because anyway they'll be interacting.
All I'm saying is whatever.
For anti-ragging measure, you can have some
Look,
committee
I'm
and things like that.
I'm not such an idiot. Listen, okay. All I'm saying is whatever measures I put in with squads, with people, it's all much easier if there are lesser places which I have to do it. Okay? Interaction, see, we don't do it by putting people in a barricade. That's not the way you do anti-ragging measures. That's very easy. I can put CISF personnel around the hostel and say no ragging is possible. That's not the way we do it. Okay? You will interact and certainly the ragging thing will die off after 2-3 months anyway. But in that period when we have to watch out for it, it's much easier for me to implement the measures when they are in 2 or 3 hostels than in 8 hostels.
So, but this is at the cost of the whole extracurricular activities.
No,
it's
at the cost of delayed interaction with seniors. No doubt about it. I've said that already. I'm not questioning that. It is at the cost of not delayed interaction, delayed easy interaction. So you can still interact, but not as easily as in the same hostel. Yes.
So this is an experiment or a solution?
Let's not debate. Well, we'll find out. Nothing is cast in stone. Nothing is cast in stone. And I'm as eager to make things work. It's not as if I want to do it where I think I want to do it. If it doesn't work, we'll change it to something else.
Sir, we'll discuss about VHI.
Yeah.
Before, after that, we'll come back if you have time. Before that, I want to ask one more question, sir. You told you don't want any freshers to involve in much in any of the extracurricular activities.
No, except of their own choice. If they're able to manage and they make their way across.
But the thing is, you told us if they want to do, that means the system is not giving a conducive
atmosphere. In the first semester,
then why are we collecting Gymkhana fees that we have increased right now?
We're not saying it for everybody. We're saying let them first semester, let them focus on what they're doing.
But then we should have a conducive atmosphere for them, sir.
First semester, let them focus on this. If you're saying why don't we stop collecting Gymkhana fees in first semester, we can do those kind of things, but that's a ridiculous thing. This is all done on an averaging basis. If you don't collect it in the first semester, then the amount will be 8 by 7 times larger in the other 7 semesters. It hardly matters. Okay, so yeah. I think we are over with this. Let's go to
we'll just go on to fee hikes. Does anyone wants to speak about fee hikes issue? If we don't, then we'll get back to the same issue.
No, your third issue.
Yeah, okay, sir. It's almost right to the same.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Any number of questions, but one at a time. And no debate.
Switch on.
So you have explicitly stated that you are against participation of first years into in extracurricular activities.
Except unless they choose to do it on their own after they have handled their transition.
Fine. But sir, don't you think
after
that
they have handled their transition well? Priorities, question of priorities, that's all.
Apart from academics, do you think an IIT
very important
is a gateway to a different
yes,
world?
Yes.
And leading universities
no
across the world?
No doubt about it. I'm just saying let's sequence it. That's why it's very important to move them into the other hostels the second year. There's no doubt. Maybe it's even, I could even say that it's logistically not possible. You could even move them in the second semester. The issue is not that. The issue is let them, right now they have to cope with a huge step function of various kinds. The steps are of different heights. Okay, that we are seeing. I have been in discussions with them. They have to first get their act together because their first primary, they have to make sure, no matter when the person goes through IIT, they gain in many ways. Academics is one of them. But, you can't get out of IIT without getting your academics right. Okay, so let them first set that on course. It actually becomes much easier to focus on the other things. Rather than having large number of students flunking or doing badly. See, people have told me, oh, you already got lower rates of flunking this year, so you solved the problem. You not solve the problem. Let me tell you, we are also looking at the cutoffs. We don't want cutoffs at 20. Okay, we want cutoffs to move towards 30, 35. So that is when we'll be comfortable that, okay, the number of people who flunk is 10%. Okay, typical Gaussian. And not with cutoffs at 20, but cutoffs at 35 or 40. That is when we feel, okay, the students have by and large got things under their control. So all we are saying is, rest is important. Let's sequence it. That's
just
all.
One question. So
and not doing it in the very first semester is not going to prevent them from doing it in the remaining 7 semesters or 8 semesters.
So for all we know, this could, isolating them could eventually turn out to be counterproductive because universities across the world work to assimilate these students into the system.
All I can tell you is from a large number of years in the past, this has not been counterproductive. We'll find out whether things have changed since those days, right? See, societies function very peculiarly. Things might have changed dramatically. We'll find out. I'm not saying, Like my predecessor will say, I'm most willing to be Mohammed bin Abdullah. If we find out this is wrong, we are going to change either to the past or to a new thing. Nothing is cast in stone. Who's got the mic next? Who's got the mic next?
So I want to just ask one question. You are saying that the freshers can participate in sports, but do they have all those amenities in those tower hostels? Do they have quaddies?
Whoever stays in the tower hostels will have a problem with this, right? It's not only the freshies.
Yeah.
Okay. So the tower hostels unfortunately were built that way. That's why the new hostels we are building are not in that mode. You saw that, right? We learned after we built it that it should not have been done that. Okay, but now we can't throw away those hostels. So it turns out, 1 minute please, it turns out this year there are the tower hostels, right? Need not always be the case. Okay, it's not, the idea was not to put them in the actually the word tower in London means something else. Not the idea of putting them in the tower hostel, but it's turned out that way, right? That was not the intention. But there will be some students, 1600 of them who will be in the tower hostels who won't have the quaddy. I also play tennis ball, cricket in my lungi every day in the quaddy, don't worry. Okay,
So,
next.
so another thing-
No, you can't do it continuously, others have a chance.
So since a point is made about the number of freshies that are failing in the courses, do you think that the interaction is the only reason for that?
There's no simple answer. We are trying many things, right? We are trying to give them as much additional.
regarding
When you finish, you ask a question. You want to make a point or you want to ask a question? You want to make a point, I listen to you. No point. I don't mind listening to you. So I'm answering your question. I'm not making points. You ask a question, I'm specifically answering. There are many things, and let me also tell you, we don't have all the answers. We are trying to figure out. Study circle we tried, it didn't work that well. So we are, we are sort of wherever it's working, we're letting them continue. Wherever it's not working, we're letting them drop it. Maths department said, sir, I'll bring in some really good retired faculty who have a way with students. I said, try anything you want. Okay, we are trying all of that. Mitra said, we'll try to do something with life skills, whatever. Right? We'll try it out. We want to, we want to have. So now we want the first year students to be. First, we want a reasonably large number, 200 plus, 300 plus, 1/3, 1/4 of the batch to be together, get to know each other better across departments in their own branches. We want that, and incidentally, we also want to limit the scale of the operation for our anti-ragging. This is the only two reasons why we are doing this. We will, if you want to have additional ways in which you can increase the interaction, the hostels are not that far apart. It's not that you should catch a bus or something. And we are not preventing them from meeting each other and so on. I don't deny that if you are going to be in a hostel only for 1 year, your identification with that hostel is much less. I don't deny that in those days when we were in Mandak and Alag, the first years never really identified as Mandak or Alag, okay, in a long-term basis in Schroeter and all that. But by its very nature, if you give first priority to settling in, right? By its very nature, the participation of first years in cultural activities will be reduced. I don't deny that at all. Okay, but that's okay. We say that beyond that, once they are settled in, no problem.
I'm speaking only about the courses. So, don't you think that there is a problem from the faculty side also?
Certainly there are teachers have problems.
What is happening? Happening with the teacher course feedback that the students?
We are looking at the feedback. We are questioning the teachers who are getting poorer feedback. Are going to the teaching learning center. We are pulling out teachers who are having lower feedback, putting in teachers who have high feedback. We are also avoiding large classes. I told you now, even chemistry will now.
There are some professors in departments who teach only UG courses. I mean, only first year courses and not the courses that are from the second year.
So what are you saying? Good or bad?
Bad. I mean.
No. Anyway, I don't want to. I mean, we can. It's diverging. Doesn't matter. No. To answer your question, we are looking at that. It's not as if we are assuming there's no problem there. We are doing whatever we can. Okay. I'm not saying it will work wonders.
Okay. About the Mitra life skills course.
No, I think you should do other chance.
One second, sir. About the Mitra life.
I mean, somebody should. You can't hog the mic. I mean, there are 20 hands behind you.
Sir.
So I have a question. You said that in the first year you would like to restrict freshies' participation in cultural, technical activities.
I only said that I want to. What we are restricting is for participation in Shastra and Sarang in anything other than an observer.
So what about freshies?
The rest of it I am not restricting them. Right? Let them proactively go and join. Okay. Let them not get. I don't want any pressure on them to join. Let them do. No problem.
So what about freshies who want to participate in
No
Shastra
problem.
and Sarang?
Let them. No, in Sarang and Shastra, no. We have
So why not, sir? So that's one of the things that a lot of people who join IIT Madras look forward to.
Well, not. I think the problem is we have seen enough evidence of first years who have talked to us and said that they're getting railroaded. It is not such a very nice voluntary system with all equals versus equals. I'm sorry, it is not that way. We have seen it. So, as a measure to make sure that the first year students give priority to their studies first and getting themselves on track, and especially now that Sarang and Shastra are both coming within months after their joining, we do not want them to be volunteers, period.
So will you put any restriction at all on LitSoc, TechSoc, C5 clubs, cultural clubs?
They're not doing anything with that. We're not stopping them from participating in any of that. Yeah. Only the volunteering, getting chai pani and all that for Shastra and Sarang, no.
So first I'd like to clarify one thing. The pros for the move that you are saying is just the anti-ragging issue and academics. Is that right?
No. Anti-ragging issues for our ability to handle our logistics, right? Not that, because they are in smaller groups in 2 or 3 hostels, we can deal with it better. As far as the rest of it is concerned, we want them to be together. We want larger numbers to be together. We want them to interact with each other a lot more. Okay? And we want that, not just we want that even more in the first year, in the first semester than interaction with seniors. The interaction with seniors is a little harder now. We're not stopping it, but we want them to be able to interact much more with each other.
So that would be anti-ragging, academics and interaction.
Academics or whatever, yeah. Social. I wrote in my email to Jitil, right? Social and academic, and then the anti-ragging is for us. Not that this will. What I'm saying is, it's much easier for us, right?
What ragging are we talking about? In the last 2 years, I don't think there's been any.
Oh, there is. I got complaint. Let me tell you, now the situation is different. If a person feels oppressed, it's not your definition of ragging or my definition of ragging. They call their parent, and very often, if the parent is a humble soul somewhere, they find it very difficult. But there are people who are not so humble souls, and they call me on the phone. They ask me to get out of the meeting I'm on, and they file complaints on the spot. They're saying my son or daughter is in the line, on the other line, and the problem is there is zero tolerance for this now in the country. Okay, so I cannot give any excuses saying this is not ragging, that's not ragging. If the ragged person says it is ragging, it is ragging. Okay. In other words, if a person doesn't want to be interacted with, you have no business interacting.
But still, you don't deny that the freshies don't interact properly. You don't deny that they are going to lose a lot of.
They are going to lose some. They are going to lose some by not being able to interact. The pluses of interacting with seniors straight away from first year are going to be lost. The interaction is not lost fully. It's harder now. The interaction will get back to the same level from second year onwards. That is a trade-off we are making. I'm not saying there's no loss at all. I never said that. Okay. Yeah.
So in the current system, like freshies will have a lot of time during the day, like other than class hours, and like generally our seniors they encourage us not to bring our laptops, and they ask us to engage in other activities like LitSoc, TechSoc, etc. But now since they have a lot of time and they have restricted access to all these activities, what if they bring their laptop? And
we'll handle that. Literal hand. We'll figure out what happens. Let's learn what happens. Don't worry. You don't try to project what might happen. And I was not born here yesterday. Don't tell me that there's so much LitSoc, TechSoc going on. I know how much is going on.
So they may not interact with the other.
I know how much is going on, and in fact, I wish more was going on. In fact, my assessment is this: about 25% of the students in IIT are very well balanced because they are in sports. About 25% are very well balanced because they are doing some LitSoc, TechSoc, and other things. About 50% are totally not doing anything else. Okay, despite their being in the same hostels, despite all your seniors so wonderfully telling them about their TechSoc, LitSoc, and so on. So I'm not saying the ones who are capable of participating from day one and balancing their academics and getting launched correctly will lose out in this. But that's a small number. The ones, and that's our assessment, and the ones who will benefit by being together with their classmates in a large number for at least the first semester. Second semester may be less important, but we can't do it. We can't do this change in the middle of the first semester. And our ability to handle the anti-ragging, this is much better with the new proposals. Next.
So my question was, in addition to this point regarding the same laptops, we find that currently second year students, first year we try our maximum to make freshers not bring any laptops and involve them in extracurricular activities. Once they come to the second year, they don't even come down for the hostel GBMs. We postponed 3 GPMs the last semester because
so
there
you're
was
the second year,
so how do you expect?
You are second years, right?
Yeah,
so
no, I've been.
Who's they and who's you?
Sir, but how do you expect the second years to put enthusiasm, to show enthusiasm in all the Litsoc, Texoc and short?
So only first year's good, is it?
We instill the, sir, we have a carryover rate from first year to second year of approximately 20%. 20% of the people who show
That
initial
20% will
enthusiasm
happen.
remain.
That 20% will happen in second year. Don't
No,
worry.
they won't.
These are people who are interested. The rest are not interested. Nothing will happen. Even
No,
if
sir.
I'm telling you. Don't worry. I've seen this before also. Yeah. And somebody else with mic.
Yes, sir.
Mic
Sir,
means you have a right to speak.
Yeah, thank you. Two quick points. Quick points. First thing, I'm a PG student. I was a TA to some of the very basic first year classes. And this is my personal opinion, you are barking at the wrong tree. Because what academic performance is, as far as we have seen, it's not entirely correlated with just the social atmosphere. So, it has to do with some courses are not taught properly in the with the chalk and board and all these issues. So, personally, my opinion is that it's not going to solve the problem. So, second thing,
it's not going to solve the problem by itself, right?
Second thing is much more important, which is that you said that you are deriving a lot from your past experience. But don't you also agree that the society is changing and you are comparing apples and oranges? The old methods that you have used, it is not worked out yet. You might be even making this issue worse.
We'll find out now whether it works or not. I'm not saying that I can show. I'm not saying that I've proven that it works. I'm just saying that we think it will work. If it doesn't work, we have to be proved right and we have to change. No problem with that. I'm not denying that it might not work. There's no way in this
giving more
that I
weightage
can
to
prove
controlling the
people that it
tracking thingy, right?
Okay.
Suppose.
Done?
I have a question. I was in the
They must have been something.
that declared the room allocation.
In our time, that's why.
No, I was
Otherwise, they
talking
would
about
have
this.
done it this way.
What happened is, Professor Committee, the board and paper, they took Anand Krishnan report as a basis for deciding the room allocation. And
report doesn't tell you how to do room allocation.
No, that was what stated.
Okay, doesn't matter. We
Okay,
know that.
sir, let us complete the point.
Doesn't matter. I think let's not get there. It doesn't matter. Even if it was said that, it doesn't matter.
Sir, if that kind of thing is happening, why it's not mattering is happening in the committee, that is taken as the basis. The basis doesn't matter now. That is what you are
That's not the
saying.
basis. We had discussion even in the Dean's Committee on this. The basis I told you what it is.
Okay, sir. One more question. You said that 3 months back the decision was taken, and
No, 3 months back we discussed. I don't know if the decision was taken.
Sir.
The matter came up. How should we do this? Okay, we discussed it in the Dean's Committee. I don't follow when you have your hostel committee meetings, right? Finally, what the Dean's see we don't decide these hostel matters. We don't decide it in the Dean's Committee. Okay, the things are important. It gets discussed there. The views expressed there are taken back. So at some point in time, your room allocation committee has decided, I don't know when the meeting took place, and finally decided this. But it was not, that is not the only place where it was discussed. This is big enough that it was discussed before that in the Dean's Committee also.
Sir. Okay, sir. One more thing. In the last meeting, it was supposed to be finalized. That is ideally supposed to happen on 12th morning after 10 o'clock. But the Hindu article came up stating that
The room allotment
is done, and there was LSG sir's quotes in it.
So you're saying the decision was taken before the day?
Exactly.
That's something we can handle separately, not in this crowd. In any properly, every committee member who's in the committee must be given a chance to be heard, and no decision can be taken without the committee meeting properly and deciding. No doubt about that. Okay. That is anyway. If there has been a mistake, there has to be corrected, but that's not a matter you can correct.
Sir, that's not a small thing, sir.
But
it's not a small thing. I'm not saying it's a small thing.
Sir, here
I'm saying it has to be corrected. So what do you want me to do?
Sir,
now in this crowd? I mean,
sir,
that's something.
Here we are. In the discussion, also main point was the democracy, which we included that point also. Like when the committee meeting was supposed to be at the 10th, and the decision comes out at 9:15. That too, through newspaper will come to know. That too is given by an official statement. That is not given that we came to know. It was given that officials only said that this is done. At 9:15 comes out. Then
I can't answer you right now. I have to find out what is the sequence, how it came out. Because actually, one thing let me tell you. No, one thing I can tell you right now. You must understand. No, I have to find out. Okay, I can't answer you without finding out the facts. One thing I tell you is we don't call the newspapers and give any information. Right? In fact, I was surprised to find that the Hindus publishing about this. In fact, I thought there are better things to write about. Okay, if you see how much they charge per column inch, it's amazing. But anyway, they seem to have got the information somehow. They seem to have called, I presume, because they keep calling me also on all matters. I presume they've called the dean and asked, and he has answered. I don't know if the dean actually gave a press conference to say, this is IIT's room allocation policy. I think it's a big important thing for the state. In fact, one leading industrialist called me and said, why is all this coming in the press? How does it matter to me? Okay, so I said, well, I don't know why it's coming in the press. Okay, anyway.
Sir, LSG sir is here. I think he can explain this.
No, I don't want to explain it here. That matter we can discuss separately. You are a committee member. Wait, you are a No, but not in, this is not an inquisition, by the way. I came for an open forum to discuss, answer your questions. This matter, if he has a complaint, no, wait a minute. If he has a complaint, he has to make it formally, I'll deal with it formally. This is not an inquisition, I'm sorry. Then I'm walking off. This is an open forum to answer your questions. Okay?
Sir, regarding the Mid Life Skills course, I'm not sure if I'm right, but when was this started?
Thank you for prefacing that. I also am never sure I'm right.
Okay. When was this started, sir? I mean, Life Skills course?
We just thought about it, we're going to start now.
So, has this been proposed in Senate?
Yeah, of course. Oh, we are very careful about all that, don't worry. IIT Madras, not a credit is changed and not a course is offered without Senate approval.
Okay, my question is that, good afternoon sir, first year the students are going to be taught, what happens before the first year students are taught all about NetSoc, TechSoc and even department research.
We try to do that also now. I'm just saying that it will be a little harder. You can't just walk across the corridor and do it.
Yeah, but then due to the human attribute called laziness, I doubt many people will be doing that. Many juniors will be interested in going beyond the hostel lines and trying to go to some other place and want to know more about NetSoc and TechSoc and so on.
I agree. I am not denying that.
And as it is, I even doubt in the second year the same would happen, because the second year they would be less interested, and also I doubt the same.
That is not my experience. For example, in my first year, I went to a lot of the, we used to have very, very good quality debate and just a minute and all that here in the CIT. I used to attend mostly as an observer, and I used to marvel at some of the standards, the high standards. Second year onwards, the hostel which I went to, slowly I started participating in one or two of them. It's not true that it doesn't, but the people who never attended in the first year never took interest in second year also.
The thing is, there are some guys who
of course,
if they get the funding session, they would have.
Yeah, you are saying there will be some people who would not do it only if they get the foundation in the first year, not otherwise. Okay, so I think so. I can't debate with you.
So earlier, while you were talking to the gentleman in the red t-shirt over there, you mentioned that the clubbing PG students and first years was a kind of a measure for anti-ragging. I mean, it was, no, you said that. Don't deny that.
Let me explain, let me correct you, irrespective of what I said.
Yeah.
We don't have a full hostel empty.
Yeah.
Okay? All hostels have somebody in it already. So at present, we want one of the things we want first year students in large groups of 200, 300, 250, 300 like that. Okay? Now maybe I am not doing the hostel allocation. Maybe there is a hostel where the remaining 100 or 150, because most hostels are 400. Okay, maybe there is a hostel in which the remaining 100 or 150 are UG students, and maybe there is a hostel in which the remaining 100 or 150 are PG students. Okay, now I have a choice of putting these 250 or 300 first year students in one of these two. From an anti-ragging point of view, I prefer to put them in the PG hostel. Okay, that's all that's happened.
Yeah.
I agree with you that, if we are willing to, once the numbers are down to 2 or 3, there are 2 or 3 groups, it is conceivable you can put them also with UGs, okay? All you have to do is take a little more care about anti-ragging. It's conceivable, this year we are not doing.
So, one thing I understand from your statement is that you are not against putting UG students with UG seniors themselves.
Well, we are not against it for its own sake. The only reason we are avoiding this time is we want to make sure our anti-ragging measures are easier to implement,
so,
that's all.
From that I conclude that you somehow have an idea that putting PG students and first years together will help with your anti-ragging measures.
We do believe that the PG students don't rag first years.
Yeah. Can you please explain what you base that on?
From our knowledge of what's been going on.
But from my experience at least, I think PG students have as much a chance of ragging first years
as... No, they don't rag. It has never happened in the past, it's not happened in the last 2 years. That's what I mean. No, there will be 1 or 2 cases here and there, no doubt, but it wasn't happening. They don't even interact, and that's our biggest problem.
Sir,
if you speak like this, I don't have any chance.
Sir, as an anti-ragging measure, as an anti-ragging measure, you are proposing this new setup. Even after we don't have any recent incidences where ragging was a serious thing?
We have. Even last year there were complaints. There are people whose parents called me. We have.
But is it, are you merely doing it for the administrative convenience at the cost of the students' concerns?
I told you why I am doing it. How many times I am telling you?
Because 95% of students were against this.
That doesn't matter. I know.
No, it's not our personal opinion. It's against the whole of the culture of the institute. It affects not just the sentiments. It affects
I don't deny that 100% of the students feel that there are positives in having first year students along with seniors in the same hostel. I don't deny that. I'm saying that having taken those positives into account and having taken the positives of the first year students being in large enough numbers together among themselves, A, and B, us having a smaller set of first year students, 2 or 3, with whom we can implement, around whom we can implement our anti-ragging measures. Both of these put together outweigh the benefits of the first year students being with the second year students right away. They will now do so after first year. That's all we have said. We have not said there are no benefits. Okay, and what you call mere administrative benefit is a very important thing. For me to, if you change the problem from dealing with 3 hostels in which they are there to 9 hostels or 12 hostels in which they are there, it's a huge problem for me to implement whatever anti-ragging measures I have to implement.
Can't we go for a better alternative without affecting the students' concerns?
There is no better alternative. The only alternative I can see is that it need not be with PGs, it could be with some other set of UGs. Okay, that's possible. We'll come to that. It's not inconceivable. Right now we are being somewhat conservative.
Even in this new setup that you have proposed, there's a possibility that juniors can interact with the seniors.
Of course.
Yeah, but without the presence of any committee or any student group or something which is against the ragging, again it's going to be difficult for you to control the ragging.
No. It's fine. If you are saying that ragging is as easy to do when students are in another hostel, then I can tell you that interactions with seniors is also as easy to do than another hostel. Can't be such a big issue. So obviously putting the students in another hostel means if it's going to reduce your ability to interact, it is going to reduce your ability to drag also. There's no doubt about it. I think let's not debate. Okay, you and I are not in a debating team.
You said that like you are trying several new measures and you are looking if it is working or not. Like the Mitra life skills thing.
Continue all of you, right, who are starting your question with you said this, you said that. You're only debating. You're not asking a question. Anyway, you ask your question.
Okay, the administration is looking.
No, what's your question?
That's what. Whatever you said, the Mitra life skills, the maths professor being so a lot,
whatever we can.
and the Vivekananda study circle. All this. Okay, whatever. All these are adding to the existing system. They are not eradicating the system which is present earlier.
What's it eradicating what? We are not eradicating anything. People are finding it difficult to adjust. We are trying to help them.
You are adding to the existing system.
They are trying to help. What do you mean add?
Like the features are added to the existing system.
If somebody has a language problem or a social or a cultural shock in coming here, how can I eradicate it? I can only help him.
That's what. You are adding it to the existing system. This feature is added to the existing curriculum or whatever. But my question is like, now you are eradicating the earlier system and you are adding the new system.
No, I cannot put 300 of them together in one hostel.
So let me complete my question. Yeah. You are eradicating the earlier system and adding a new system and saying that you are going, the administration is going to look if it is working or not. Then it means, are you going to take the risk if it fails?
What is the big risk? If it doesn't work out and it's better to put them back with the seniors, we put them back.
We told so many risks in that. The total personality development of a student is going to be extracurricular.
None of those things are proven. None of the things you claim are proven. I'm sorry. I don't know if personality development is going to be proven. These are all claims.
You said before voting having this informal voting that we had some informal voting.
Formal voting also.
Yeah, we had some informal voting. We got.
That's the view of a large number of students.
Yes, sir.
It will be 100%.
You said that we didn't know the positives of the new initiative that we are taking. That's why.
No, I didn't say that. You may still think that is very important. That what is being lost by the lack of interaction is much more important than what is being gained by us in putting. You may still think that is your view. I said you can have the view. Why 95%? 100% can think that.
100% of the students are feeling so.
So what? I think that's the point I want to make. Democracy has many meanings. Democracy has many aspects to it. Democracy means you are heard, but democracy doesn't mean you take a vote on everything. Okay? So it's not a matter on which you can vote. We heard you, and I'm being openly telling you that I'm not discounting what you're saying. I'm saying that there are benefits. I'm just saying that we have to weigh everything and decide. That's all you're saying.
true enough. What I was exactly asking is like, it's really 95% or 93%.
I am also agreeing with you that the reasons for which you want that are valid. But I am saying that in our view, those reasons are not outweighed by the other reasons. That's all we are saying.
We actually we actually know about your views also, sir. We will judge according to the.
So we have to agree to differ. Now we are the decision makers, so we make the decision. That's all I'm trying to say. We can't take votes on this. This is not a matter like election where you vote. Okay? Even in India, by the way, we don't have referendums. We vote for the people. You don't vote for we don't have referendums in India. Think about why we don't have referendums. What you're asking for is a referendum. Okay? Fine.
Excuse me, sir. When you say that the relation between student and junior and teenager is a word like interaction. It means sports, talk events, tech talk events, academic related events. My senior, who is passed out 2 years back, called me in the summer asking me to send my resume to him. He personally called me and asked me.
That will happen even
so
then.
you take
Don't worry, it will happen. Once second year onwards, it will happen.
Okay, I'm making a point. So by interaction, you are taking away all this from the
No, I'm not. Only for temporarily for the first year. Not taking it away becomes a little harder. Second year onwards, as easy. No problem.
Okay, now let's change the topic.
That's why it's very important not to put you in the same hostel for 4 years. I agree with you.
Thank you, sir. Now let's change the topic to PH.
You want to discuss PH? They said no, so I allowed to continue discussion on this. Now suddenly you want to discuss PH. I have to go. Sorry, 1 hour.
Okay, sir. Final. Okay, we'll move to this out of bracket part. Before that, sir, respected sir, to hold through the discussion, we have found that many times we have used the words like it's an experiment, we are not sure, and both the sides have positives and pros and cons. So the whole thing is you are going to risk the system.
There's no risk in this. What
we are going to risk.
Are you asking somebody to jump off the cliff? Nothing. There's no big
no risk in system as a whole, sir.
I will mention a risk. Anand Krishnan report actually claims that if there is a less senior in junior.
I don't know. I think the Anand Krishnan report is a red herring. I don't want to discuss it.
Sir, it is meant for centrally funded institutes. I think
so that's okay. That report is about suicides.
Yes, sir.
That's okay. That's not. It is totally irrelevant to this discussion.
If it is less, suicides may increase. That is what it is saying.
You can try to show the connection how it increases or decreases. I don't know how you show it.
No, actually, when the presentation which we showed for the meeting, we showed that it's because in Anand Krishnan we showed the many clauses which state that there was no point. It's clearly we showed many clauses which state that interaction, all these things, points and social benefits.
No, we are not reducing interaction.
And also the model shows that there were some 3 to 4 suicides, 4 suicide attempts and 3 suicides in all the IITs in last 2 years from the freshers, and IIT Madras did not have any suicide from last 8 years. That means our model was working fine. And we are
this is the science you learn on cause and effect. If this is the science you're going to apply when you join McKinsey or I'm really sad, very scared.
Thousand students already feel the same thing.
So you are saying that the report is not
no, I think let's go on.
So you just told there is no big risk in this move being.
See, there's no big risk. One minute, let me tell you, there's no big. I don't know why the word risk is coming. We are trying something which we think will improve matters for the first years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wait a minute. We are trying something which we think will improve matters for the first years. All I said was, I'm telling you honestly, I can't claim that I know it will work. We have a good feeling we have a hunch it will work a lot because it has worked in the past. But as somebody pointed out, times have changed, it may not work. We'll find out. I'm also saying that in all matters, not only this matter, we are not hung up on any ego issues. If we find it doesn't work, I'll come again and tell you that it didn't work. I'm sorry, I'm going to change it. Okay, no problem with that also. But if you're asking me, am I doing something without having a good idea whether it will work? Of course not. I believe it will work. That's why I'm doing it.
Sir, you said that there is no referendum in India, but the elected representatives' views were not taken into account when the administration took the decision.
No, they were taken into account. I knew that you had this view when we took the decision. We all knew it.
It was not incorporated.
No, why? I'm telling you that your views are taken into account and I don't believe
in India, they incorporate all the elected representatives' views and then only they take a decision. It is not. Why there is a Lok Sabha, why there is a Rajya Sabha? Then.
You haven't studied your civics, sir. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. You've only marked your physics, chemistry, maths. I'm really sorry to say this. If you want, I'll get you a civics course. Okay? I mean, this is ridiculous. If you don't know your civics, you shouldn't talk like this. One thing IIT students learn know when they know and when they don't know. Okay? Yeah. Who's got the mic?
Sir, one question. So you do accept this will affect the culture, like it will affect the various senior junior relationships.
I can't imagine that it won't affect the ease of interaction between second and
So
seniors.
there will be an impact on LITSOC, TechSOC, everything.
No, I don't know how much it will have impact because I don't know how much first years really have time to participate without affecting their per minute, without getting first, right? I don't have data on how many of the students who are participating have adjusted and put themselves on track and then participating and how many are not doing it. I don't have data on that. But all I am saying is, if there are some students who from day one have got everything right, know how to balance have adjusted to the system and are ready to participate in LITSOC, TechSOC, they may still be able to do it, but the ease with which they can do it is certainly less than if they were in a hostel with seniors. I don't deny that. That subset will find it more difficult now. Okay, not impossible. But we believe, and why did we do this still? We believe that the larger subset, which is remaining, have a lot more to gain out of this. That's all. I did not say that there are no price to be paid in this. We believe it's a small price. That's all I said.
So suppose
okay, no debate. Any other questions?
No, sir. The larger subset goes into another option in the second year. So if they see that their seniors are doing various projects, they don't have a clue about what they are doing.
No, they will learn. Yeah. What is there? Why you can't learn in the second year what you can't do in the first year? I don't understand.
We have no credits, sir. The credits are more, and we have more academic pressure as well as more other co-curricular.
First year, everybody, all the first year students saying first year academics is hardest. You ask them in the first year, not when you are in the third year.
Nobody said that, sir.
It is mostly the first year.
Credits in the second year.
Ask the 150 students into my T who are doing badly, not the remaining 60.
Let's not ask 150 students.
Oh, I have to ask them. They are the ones who have.
No, let's take a survey of all the first years.
I think I have enough of your surveys.
Why not, sir?
No, it doesn't make sense. Don't take surveys for everything. Yeah.
All the first years.
How can I talk about the survey? Sometimes I have to come up with this methodology which will address the problems of the people who are having problems, not the problems
You
of
just said you took the opinion of the 150 students.
Of who are affected, whom I am trying to help, whom I have to help. Not the 650 who have managed to find their feet. So please understand that. Okay? It's not for the majority. It's 650. Then I can always say 150 only affected, you go to the dogs. That's not the right approach. It's not majority always.
The personal academics is not that hard.
Well, that's your view. That's not the view of everybody.
People struggle, I know, but that's perhaps because they don't really know. They are
not adjusted yet. I also agree that out of the 150 you find it difficult in the first year, less than 50 find it difficult after second year onwards. No doubt about it.
But there's a lot of safety valves which don't really let students know that there is a price to failing. No one is allowed to really fail. Whatever you do, you will get back somehow. That's the sense which we get there. We're also shielded in this atmosphere. People can fail and they can, what they call, put peace, and it doesn't matter because people don't really realize how, and that failing doesn't.
Okay, I don't know what you're saying. Anyway.
Sir, if you ask
last question, please.
Sir, if you ask the first year students, they'll obviously say like it's difficult. When they come to fourth year, they'll compare all the 4 years and they'll say which is difficult. It's very obvious, sir. You are saying you are the first year students. How come it's satisfying?
What matters to me is the first year students making their adjustment in the first year, not making their adjustment in the fourth year. I have to make the first year students, enable them to make the transition in their first year. What they say that time only matters, not what they say at the end of the program or what they say after 5 years of being an alumnus.
What they'll compare and they'll comment about it, sir? And what they'll compare and comment about the first year is difficult?
Nothing. If they say it's difficult, it's my job to make it easier. That's all.
Sir, obviously college is a different life. They have to compare with something.
So I know,
they can compare with school.
I know that it can't be. I know that they have to make the transition. I have to make it easier for them to make the transition. It's our job to make it easier. Especially the ones that come from so many different backgrounds.
Okay, let's move on to this question. So,
I think how much time?
Sir, that's the last question, sir. Like it's mainly dealing with the way the issue was handled. The first told he was a committee member, go through this, and the decision was taken before the meeting was happened. And sometimes the decision was taken in the committee meeting, and it was told that this not we'll change the decision again in the next meeting. And okay, so with addition to it, why was the alternate proposal not considered? We requested to say we request not to say just please we considered it but not agreed upon. And
that is the truth. What can I do? If we did consider a proposal and decided that's not a good proposal, what can I do? That is the truth. If you say an alternate proposal is voted by 95% student has to be accepted, then I'm sorry.
Sir, thank you for your time, sir. Maybe LSG sir can actually explain us
No, no, I just asked him to be here. Because he is not explaining anything today. Okay. If you want him to answer questions about the policy, he'll answer. If you want I ask any questions, what happened in the committee meeting, he won't answer it today. I'm telling him he won't answer it.
Okay, sir. And finally, this is
not an inquisition.
This is more of an emotion than a question. The report exchange with the admin and the director had us, like also all the students.
What is that?
I
don't understand you. Reported exchanges.
Yes, sir. And we have protested. We have protested the move in a peaceful and respectful manner. However, admin has responded with utter disrespect. For example, the reference of the relation between the students and admin being similar to that of the one between the employee and his boss or the company.
I never said that.
Yes, sir. You told us when we five of us met, sir.
Yeah, what did I tell you?
Sir, we told that 95%.
You didn't understand what I said. I said that if you go to a company, you will understand, okay, what it is. See, please don't take it out of the context. Okay, what I said was, after you have heard, that people who have to make the decisions will make the decisions. Okay. Here it's very clear, right? After the administration, hostel administration or the institute administration will take the decisions after you are being heard. You have to be clear who makes the decisions. You can't vote and give votes to decision makers. That's all I said. I said when you go to a company, you'll understand this very well. Here you don't seem to understand. That is what I told you. Okay? You have to understand this very simple thing. You can always express your view. After you express your view, the decision maker will make his decision. May not be what you agree with. Okay, may not be what you wanted, but that's the way it is. You may feel that the person has ignored your view, you may feel that the person has taken your view and yet decided. That's your estimate of the person's integrity or the person's ability to deal with the complexity of the issue. But ultimately, the decision maker has to take the decision. It's not a voting. Please, if you think that these committees are voting mechanisms, I'm sorry.
So there is no value for any student.
There are so many suggestions of the students that are being taken in so many things. You just have to, if you want to do a statistical analysis of that, you can do. So to say that there is no value is not correct. The very first time you find some decision is not taken as per your liking, if you come to that conclusion, that's a wrong conclusion. You are free to come to that.
I don't think it's first this time.
Well, I'm saying this could be the second or third, but if you are just going to analyze how many of the inputs that you are getting are being accepted, and some are not. You didn't want Sarang and this thing in the beginning of the semester, right? That was not. We said no, nothing doing. It shall be that way. I'm giving an example where it was not. So it's not the first decision. I agree with you. What I'm saying is there are some, but there are so many other things you asked for which I agreed to. Okay, because that's fine. We don't stand. There's no issue. Sometimes we agree to it, even when we don't. Even some of us feel that that's not the right thing. That's fine. That's also happened so many times. So I don't think it's correct. But if that's what the position you take, you analyze the position whether factually it's correct.
Okay, one question.
Emotionally you may feel that way now, but factually you have to analyze.
One question, one comment. Now, most of the discussion so far is centered on the effect of.
There's no discussion. I answered questions.
Right. I mean, okay. The most of the all the question answers.
It's all based on your questions. Not I didn't drive it.
No. So what is it's focused on the effect of the reallocation on the UG junior fresher and senior interaction.
That's what the questions were about.
That's what. But has there also been? I mean, there are very few PGs around. I mean, has there been any discussion of the effect of this on the? I mean, the PGs tend to be a sort of neglected lot. So, has there been any discussion about the effect of the similar interaction between PGs, junior and senior?
No, we are not.
And also, there's also another. I just voice out another concern of the PGs that there is. I mean, to put it politely, probably a generation gap. I mean, so the PGs have gone through a stage where they come out of school and probably.
But I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So now their concern is really that. About things like what I would put it again, disturbance. Because they've also got a different set of concerns about doing research and so on. So has that been discussed when this was put across? This was.
It has not been discussed because I cannot, given the constraints in which we operate, the hostels that we have and the way the students are, unless I take out everybody and reorganize. Okay.
No, because
1 minute, let me finish. You asked a question.
Yeah, no, the same question, because actually while the UGs have other sort of fora in which, all these SOCs, Lit SOC, Tech SOC and Shastra SARAN, perhaps it's not happened for various reasons. So the only interaction that happens between PGs is within the hostels.
No, you're saying PGs should be on this committee?
No. What I mean is if this happens, then the interaction among PGs will probably completely fritter away. because the only sort of interaction that happens among PGs is within the hostel.
Yeah.
So there's very little interaction.
No, so you are saying there should be
reallocation would affect the PG interaction.
You are saying there should be hostels in which there are only PGs.
Yeah, that's how it used to work, and they used to be similar, just like the UGC interactions among seniors and juniors in UGs. There's also interaction among.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So that
I agree with you that we have some choices. We can create hostels which have only first years in them. We can create some hostels in which there's first years and some amount of PGs in them. We can also create a hostel in which there's a large group of first years and some other higher year UGs in them. All these are options. Okay. Here it's also we have to operate with what constraints we have, which hostels are emptying today, where the large number of seats are, etc. There are consequences of that we felt by one batch. All these are this year we are putting it together with PGs. Okay. There, of course, the number of PGs in the institute is 2005 is 4,000 almost, 3,500 or so. This is going to affect a small subset of them. The others are still going to be in PG hostels, or I don't know, probably they're already mixed up with UGs in a big, because of. Right? It's not as if the PGs are all in separate hostels. I don't think we have pure PG hostels and UG hostels as a design. It might have happened also. These are things we can play with. That's why the room allocation committee is there. There's no issue. The thing we wanted was large groups of UG students together, okay, and for both their ability to socialize and be academically together, and secondly for our anti-ragging issues. Currently, from the point of view, I presume, I was not part of the committee, presume they had a choice between one hostel where the remaining 200 or 150 were UGs and PGs, they have decided to put them in the PG hostel. Okay, because that sort of looks better from the anti-ragging point of view. So that's open to, we could change that also. It's not that, these are not, nothing is cast in stone. But the principles on which we have done this, I explained. Okay.
So, is a comment possibly something similar to the life skills which is started for UGs could also be introduced for PGs? That might also help make sure.
I agree.
Sir,
yeah.
About the academic
this can never end otherwise.
One last question. About this academic performance, 150 number of students getting failed in one course. After performing in quiz 1 and quiz 2, don't we feel that professor can judge the students whether he is really doing well in academics or not? But even after judging that, we were never encouraged or do better in courses and all. So don't you feel that this academic issue will be solved in that way better?
To solve the academic issue, from our understanding, there are many, it's not one simple solution. There are people are having poor performance due to 3, 4, 5 different reasons. Okay, and we have to address all of them. They range from some people not simply being able to follow the English, the way it's spoken and the way, a fully English class like that, to somebody not able to cope with the speed. Okay. In fact, some students told me that they are used to going to a coaching class in the morning, going and then catching up with the revision the rest of the day. Whereas here, they are being taught the whole day, and then Monday there's exam. Wait a minute, this is some students, cannot be your experience or anybody in this room. These are people have told, and not small numbers. These are numbers, not one man's experience there. So there are all sorts of things going on. What we are trying to do is, therefore, at a week 800, you can't give one-on-one type of help. One-on-one type of help is the best. You find out what a person's problem is and help that person. Okay, we can't do that. So what we are doing, if we finish, is trying to help academically by giving study sessions, tutorials, whatever. Trying to improve the classroom ambience by having smaller classes, right? Putting the teachers who have got better ratings. Third, we are trying to we are doing, and then this giving them more time to study, okay, by pushing some of the things, by pushing the workshop. All of this we are trying. In addition, now we want to have them in larger groups together so that they can interact much more among each other in the first year, which incidentally also makes our anti-ragging thing very easy to implement, much easier to implement. Not easy, very easy, easier to implement. This is the logic. I have told this n times, I am repeating it n+1 time. It is not that there are no counter points. This is a logic. Okay, and it's not a magic wand by which next year there will be no problem.
Even if it's a small class, why are we preferring smaller classes, like to increase the to have a better pupil to teacher ratio?
Yeah, I mean smaller classes.
Even then, if professor unless really interacts with us, unless he is really concerned about our academic performance, then only situation can improve. Not these all things. Maybe.
I mean now See, now you are saying there will be some faculty member.
No, about not some faculty members, sir. Personally, I hardly interact with
No,
professors.
in any college, in any college, the professor only lecture. Okay, let me tell you that unless the class size is less than 25, you can't really get to know them. Okay, it's impossible.
But he has a chance
Lecture may be good, lecture may not be good.
He can easily judge whether the student is performing well or not after quiz 1 and quiz 2.
He knows.
So he can really help us out. He can really help us out if.
How can we help 60 people unless we provide all these other measures? We provide a different person to come in and in classes of 15 with tutorials help them.
No, exactly. It's about 50 to 60 in a class. It's about 50 to 60 pupils in a class.
How can you help?
So the people
you need
who
to
don't
take out the 15, 30 people who are doing badly and give them tutorials, give them. That's what we're trying to do.
At least they can. No, sir, that's not happening actually. That's not happening. 13 to 15
last year maths, that's what we did. This previous semester, that's what we tried study circle first with TAs and all that didn't work. Now we're trying to bring in.
We are actually segregating study circle and all for lesser things who are studying. It's like we are removing them out from normal things. They have to be encouraged. They have we need encouragement and all on that basis.
No, the ones who are doing badly have to be helped.
Helped and encouraged, sir, not like separated.
No, but I can't force everybody else to attend those classes. Not those who are finding it easy. Only the ones who are finding it difficult will attend. Even the ones who are finding it difficult don't attend. They don't come.
Everything.
And I asked them why, and they said we thought we'll manage somehow. And because they've been told by everybody that getting peace is okay. Okay. Then they said we realized too late that it's not okay. I've heard all this from those students. Okay? I think it's good.
Okay, sir.
I'm not saying that you all are silent. I didn't expect to come here and convince all of you. I'm just saying that there are pluses and minuses. Weighing everything, we've taken this decision. It's not as if we've not heard you. Yes, obviously in any situation where your view is not accepted, I understand that. I told them also, I fully understand that it is going on.
So the NBA, we all felt that we are none of our question was completely convinced with our answers. We feel like it's just done because of the ease of administration and some experiments from students like us. So we feel it's no point in discussion.
So I just like to ask one thing. Were there no new points that we suggested that you didn't consider before? Did you consider all the points that we asked right now?
Yeah. Most of the stuff you have mentioned the main theme of it comes in various words, but the main theme is there is a benefit by first year students being in the same hostel as second year students, which is being lost. That I am not denying. Okay? That has been considered. Now the detail of one point, that laptops they won't use, I can consider. But the broad theme that all of you are saying, please consider it.
Oh, everyone, I don't think there is no point of discussion much. So I think we'll end it up.
Thank you.